This next demo is on two transformation tools, the scale tool and the rotation tool. I will do the scale tool first. I'm going to tear off my geometric tools, and I'm just going to shift drag and draw a square. Okay, now I'm going to go up to my stroke and take that up to about 10 points. And then I'm going to hit S. That will show me where the scale tool is, and then I'll double click on it. Now, on the scale tool, on this dialog box, we have uniform scale and non-uniform scale. For this, we're going to look at uniform scale. If you go non-uniform scale, then you can change your horizontal and your vertical. We're going to always scale stroke and effects. That will keep everything in proportion. And what I mean by that, if I have a 10-point stroke and I take this down to 50%, by the way, 100% is same size. Anything less than 100 is a reduction. Anything above 100 is an enlargement. So if I take this down 50% and I scale my stroke and effects, my stroke should come down 50%, and we can preview that. So you can see it's given me from a 10-point stroke to a 5-point stroke. Now I could just go ahead and OK that, or I can copy it, and now you can see that. So that is the scale tool. The other thing you can do with the scale tool, and let me get it selected, is you can scale just by dragging. If you hold down shift, it'll keep it in proportion. And if I hold down shift and do this, you see the strokes coming down in proportion also. Okay. You can also do this with the selection tool, black arrow. When we get our bounding box, it does the same thing. See, we can reduce and enlarge. Okay, that is the scale tool. Next is the rotation tool, and I'm going to draw another square. I'm going to take the stroke back down some and throw a color on there. Okay, so now first of all, when you're rotating, you can rotate a shape with the selection tool in the bounding box. Yes, if you move it around, let's see, once you get those double arrows, now you're ready to rotate. So that's another thing you have. You don't necessarily always have to be in the rotation tool to rotate something by hand. Command Z. But the rotation tool gives us many more features. So I'm going to hit R. See, that puts me in the rotation tool. And every one of these transformation tools has a point of origin. And that's what this is right here. So this is the axis that this is going to rotate on. So I can just click and drag and rotate it on that axis. Okay? Now you can move that point of origin simply by clicking. See, there it is now. And now that's the axis that it's rotating on. Okay? You can even move it outside, and it'll do that for you. Okay? Now I'm going to delete that, and this time I'm going to draw a star. Okay, and we'll hit R again for the rotation. And once again, we can rotate around here. We can move it to the point and rotate it. But we can also get a dialog box and rotate. Now to get a dialog box, and basically what we're going to do is, well, first we can just double click on the rotation tool, and we'll get a dialog box, and we can dial these in, and with preview on, it's going to show us what it's going to do. Okay, until you get what you want, and then you just OK it. But we can also move this point of origin and get a dialog box. Now to do that, we're going to hold down Option. And if you look real close, you'll see 3 or 4 little dots beside our crosshair. So that's telling us that we're going to now move our point of origin and get a dialog box. So I'm just going to move it out here a little bit. Okay, I'll turn off the preview. Okay, so now I've moved the point of origin and I've got a dialog box. I'm going to just do a 15-degree rotation, and I can preview it and see what that's going to do. Okay, that's working. So now I'm going to copy it. So now I have 2. Now at this point I can go Object, Transform again, or Command D. And I can just rotate all the way around. I tell students think of D for duplicate because that's what it's doing. Try to remember that shortcut. Okay, so that is the scale tool and the rotation tool.